Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis, and today in GeneralJannis Tactics, the Warhammer 40k Math Hammer channel with an earthly touch, we are looking at a hypothetical battle of the Daemon Primarchs, Mortarion versus Magnus the Red, Thousand Sons versus Death Guard, and Nurgle versus Chinch. So who will be victorious in this bout of giants? Let's get started. So today is the 7th of October, and as I said, we will be looking at the hypothetical battle of the Daemon Primarchs from the Thousand Sons and Death Guard, and who can bring the glory to his god and his legion. I will be simulating the math here, making a simulation of different battles, because of course with these Primarchs you could be lucky with your dice, etc., etc. And also at the end, I will also be giving some comments to if those these Primarchs face each other, or if you're playing an army, a 2,000 point game, and they are over for each other, what should you do, etc. But in this one, mostly focusing on a one-to-one hypothetical battle. So with no further ado, let's get started. So let's start looking at Magnus the Red, his base stats and abilities. Magnus the Red has 450 points. He's a very fast model, flying 16 inches, unharmed, degrading down to 12 inches. He has a 2+ weapon skill and ballistic skill. He has 8 strength, 7 toughness, 18 wounds, and then he also has 8 melee attacks, 10 leadership, 3+ save. He has a 4+ invul save. And the only weapon he has, apart from his mind and the psychic prowess, is the Blade of Magnus. The Blade of Magnus is a melee weapon with strength ×2, so this becomes a strength 16, AP -4, damage 3. And after you have fought with this weapon, if you scored some wounds, you can do additional D3 mortal wounds on the target. As I said, the 4+ invul save, he doesn't suffer the perils of the warp, and he has -1 to incoming damage characteristic. Basically, he also has disgusting resilience like Death Guard has. He's the Lord of the Planet of the Sorcerer, and this allows him to select himself or another unit to core or character to reroll all 2 hits in the command phase. He can cast 3 and deny 3 spells per turn. He knows all his warlord trait gives him the ability of knowing all psychic powers from the vengeance and the change discipline. He can reroll the psychic test. He gets +2 to his psychic tests if he is at 10 in the top bracket, otherwise +1 to the psychic test, and this is on top of the +1 to the psychic test from Thousand Sons detachment ability. So basically he's casting at full wounds with a +3, making super smites quite possible. He can reroll the deny the witch tests as well. And talking about super smites, of course Magnus has a very specific smite. When he does the normal, let's say warp 5 and above, he does a d6 damage instead of a d3, and if he does it at 11 and higher, he will do 3d3, and with +3 to 3d3 mortal wounds, and with a +3, he has a quite good chance to do the super smites. Additionally, he's generating 4 Cabal points per turn, which can come in handy in this battle, as I will be allowing him to use Kabbalistic rituals on himself for these 4 Cabal points. Now, looking at the Death Guard Primarch, Mortarion, his base stats and ability. Mortarion is a bit more expensive, 490 points, a little bit lower durability, mobility, 12-inch movement with the wings, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 8, toughness 8. He has 18 wounds and 7 attacks as a base. He has the Lantern pistol that typically misses 1 shot, damage 3. Let's say strength 8. He also has phosphex bomb grenades that he could use if he comes close to the opponent. The pistol he can shoot also locked in combat in his shooting phase. He has the silence, of course. The scythe is his main weapon of damage. He can use eviscerating blow with basically a strength strength 16, AP -4, and the D3 +3, and being a plague weapon rerolling once. The Reaping Scythe allows him to do 3 hit rolls instead of 1, so he could do 21 hits, taking out lighter infantry by the dozens, let's say. That's only a strength 8, AP -2, and damage 1 weapon. He's the Primarch of the Death card. He, like Magnus, he can select a core character unit, so to get full rerolls to hit, and he can use it in this battle on himself to make rerolls. He has a Toxic Presence, giving the -1 toughness aura for 9-inch. Doesn't really help him against Magnus. He will be bringing Magnus down from toughness 7 to toughness 6, but it doesn't really affect so many of the weapons here. He's the Host of Plagues, allowing him to select a Warlord trait from the Plague Companies before the battle, and Gloaming Bloat is really a strong one from Mortarion's Anvil. This will make that Magnus will not be able to reroll hits and hit rolls and wound rolls, making him hopefully miss a lot of his melee attacks against Mortarion. In the Psychic phase, Mortarion is a good psyker, but not compared to Magnus. He can cast 2 powers and deny 3 powers, but he's at huge disadvantage to deny Magnus potentially having +3 and rerolls. So denying probably will be only on very lucky rolls for Mortarion, and Magnus will have better chances to deny Mortarion with his 2 power. He can reroll. Mortarion will be using Miasma of Pestilence, is a good one, -1 to be hit, and not allowing Magnus the rerolls with the Gloaming Bloat, and Smite he can do some mortal wounds on Magnus. So, thinking about what strategy Magnus should use in the battle, of course Magnus has the definite advantage in the Psychic phase. He can also deal a lot of damage to Mortarion, and he can use it to protect himself. The best option he has is the Magnus Smite, of course. Then the Twist of Fate, Psychic Power, taking away Mortarion's Invul save, the 4+ Invul save, and making his blade really unsavable. That's of course a very strong one, and sets him up for a melee damage. Then he can also attempt, for example, the Doom Bolt to do 3 mortal wounds on top. He could be maybe selecting Glamour of Change to -1 to be hit, but Mortarion will be able to reroll everything to hit, so probably he will not gain so much. I will show you the numbers if he uses Doom Bolt or Glamour, or if he doesn't go for Twist of Faith and for example selects Firestorm of Change to try to do even more mortal wounds on Mortarion. Every time when he applies mortal wounds, he will also use 4 Cabal points to do additional D3 mortal wounds to Mortarion. Of course, if he casts a spell and fails it, he will reroll, but he can also reroll everything that's a natural 5 or lower. For example, that would make sense because with a +3, he will probably have a better chance of not being denied. So he will use his rerolls, of course, if he fails, and rolling something low, rerolling it, hoping to get something higher for Mortarion to not be able to deny. Magnus will, of course, attempt to deny all of Mortarion's spells and reroll as necessary, and then he will try to come into close combat to deal damage with his blade. This is a good combination with Twist of Fate. And in this case, Mortarion can only protect himself by disgusting resilience and the 5+ feel no pain that he has. Looking at and thinking about Mortarion's strategy, as I said, Mortarion will take the Gloaming Bloat. That contagion will really help him to negate Magnus' rerolls to hit in melee. Mortarion will select himself to reroll everything. He will attempt, of course, to deny all powers that Magnus is casting, but he will be at a very bad disadvantage at +3, and Magnus has +3 and rerolls. In Mortarion's own Psychic phase, he will attempt to cast, as I said, Miasma of Pestilence, -1 to be hit, and then he will do a Smite. Nothing else really helps him, Gift of Plagues or anything. I think, trying to do some mortal wounds and doing the Miasma of Pestilence. He will shoot his pistol in close combat and Phosphex grenades if he gets to charge first. Shooting, of course, is not the strong point of Mortarion, but it will be able to add a little bit of wounds. And of course, Mortarion, he wants to come in close and personal and do it scythe style. He wants to come into melee, and I made some simulations here if he should be using the eviscerating blow or try to overwhelm Magnus with multiple ripping scythe. Here you can see the expected damage output for 200 simulations. The blue is the eviscerating blow. He will do much more, has the potential to do much more damage, even killing Magnus in one go with eviscerating blow. Not so much on the ripping scythe. So the average wounds would be 13, with the ripping scythe only 9. So eviscerating blow it is, even if Magnus has the 4+ inval save. Here we see the same values. If Magnus has a -1 to be hit, the damage will go down a little bit, but the eviscerating blow will be the selection for Mortarion. The battle rules, the models are assumed to be close to each other, so no running away. They can bridge the gap, they can shoot and charge, and will do so and succeed in the first turn. No hiding and running away allowed. I don't allow them to use stratagems or command point rerolls or anything like that. And we have a dice roll for the first turn. And then, of course, if Mortarion wins the first turn, he will do his psychic abilities, he will shoot, he will charge, he will fight, and then Magnus will fight back. And then in the second turn, Magnus will attempt his psychic, and then Mortarion will fight again, and Magnus will fight again, and then it continues like this. If Magnus gets the first turn, he will try to do the same, the equivalent. He will use his psychic phase, his psychic powers. He will charge, he will fight. Then if Mort is surviving, he will fight back. Next time, using his psychic, shooting the lantern in point blank. Then Magnus will fight first as the defender, and then Mortarion fights back again. So winning the first roll, the first turn, is quite important, even for the Primarchs. So let's see the results. So let's look at the results from 200 simulations, and here we can see the results. And in the most times, 120 times of the simulated ones, Mortarion is the winner here, and Magnus is winning 79 wins in this simulation here. So 40% chance for Magnus to win, 60% chance for Mortarion to win. Mortarion, the big advantage he has in melee makes him the winner here. There is, as we can see, a very big go first advantage. When Mortarion starts first, he wins 95% of the times. When Magnus goes first, he has a 75% win rate for Magnus going first. When they win, we can see Magnus, the average damage he's dealt to Mortarion, 7 wounds of the 18 wounds required came from the psychic abilities, and the rest is melee. We can see Mortarion, on the other hand, only doing a little bit of psychic wounds that Mortarion doesn't deny, a little bit of shooting with the pistol or the grenades, and the most of it is the big scythe taking out his psychic brother here. The battles are quite fast, so 70 of the battles end already in turn 1, and in turn 2 nearly everything has finished. Only a few battles go further than two rounds here. So it's a fast and quite brutal battle. We see, and of course, as I said, very high going first advantage, and we can see that for most of the cases, even if they win, the Primarchs will be quite damaged here. Sometimes they don't get damaged at all. If they go first and they have some lucky rolls, they can really finish off the opponent. But Mortarion is having definitely the advantage in this matchup. If Magnus is trying some other spells, that doesn't really help him. If he's using Firestorm of Change, for example, instead of the Twist of Fate to deal even more mortal wounds, his winning rate falls. He only wins 50 times here. His win rate, if going first, is lower, so he doesn't benefit from doing more mortal wounds and not going after crippling Mortarion's inval save. If he tries to protect himself more with Glamour of Change instead of the Doom Bolt, for example, then it's pretty much similar, but again, not as good if he's using the Doom Bolt. So again, Magnus can't really find anything much better here. So, reaching to the summary and the final thoughts, in this hypothetical scenario with a 1-to-1 battle, Mortarion has the upper hand. The 3 plus D3 melee weapon is really strong and can finish off Magnus. Even a full health Magnus could die from a good roll of the scythe, allowing the rerolls, the plague weapon. It's a really strong combo, and the D3 plus 3, if Magnus doesn't save, will minimum do 3 damage every time it goes through, earn an average 4 damage. The 5 plus Feel No Pain for Mortarion is really helping him out against Magnus. Not a lot of things could survive Magnus's psychic attacks. The 5 plus Feel No Pain gives Mortarion the protection he needs, both in melee and with to face the psychic onslaught of Magnus. And the Gloaming Bloat here is a must. If he allows rerolls to Magnus, then Magnus will be able to have a much higher win rate. Magnus is still not helpless. He can get lucky and kill a full health Mortarion even, but to be more sure, he probably would need that Mortarion is already a bit degraded before making his assault. This is, as I said, a hypothetical battle. Many of you probably will say, but this will maybe not happen on the battlefield. You're right. In a real battle with full armies, I think Magnus is not so easy to take out. He has, first of all, he has higher mobility than Mortarion. He can probably maneuver a bit better and better dictate when they should engage, if they should engage. Other Thousand Suns units, for example, Psykers and shooting from the other units, could hit Mortarion. When he's brought to something, then Magnus can move in to make the kill here. The death card strategy, I think, if in this situation, would be to have Mortarion try to go after Magnus and not leave Magnus alone to put a lot of psychic damage output that he can really do. His mortal wounds can really wreck the armies. The death card, probably Plague Scrollers with Entropy Cannon with a D3 plus 3 wounds would be a good thing. And Mortarion, if he comes close, even a full health Mortarion, full health Magnus, he should be able to finish him off with a scythe. If he's getting help from some of the other units, that's probably a strong point. So this concludes the video, and I have to say, before I did the math, I thought that Magnus' Twist of Faith and the Blade would be able to, and the Mortal Wounds would be able to kill Mortarion, but Mortarion, Nurgle's finest, still stands strong, even versus his psychic brother. So with these words, this is the end of this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Were you surprised by the results? Have you had that on the tabletop? I saw a Tabletop Titans game where they had Magnus and Mortarion, and they were just dancing around each other. Nothing happened, and they didn't get to fight. And therefore, I wanted to do the simulation in my channel to see what would have happened if they have been fighting. So if you like this video, please press like and subscribe to my channel. In the links in the description, you can see some other battles from Primarchs I've been doing in this style, and you can find a lot of more death card tactics and also now Thousand Sun tactics in the channel. If you like my work, please visit my Patreon page, become a patron, support my channel, and with these words, GeneralJannis signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye bye.